Okay, so now we're going to add in this plus c. So you'll see that we have ax squared plus c for less than 8.2. If we remember, the standard form of a quadratic equation is ax squared plus bx plus c. Now in the last lesson we talked a lot about what a does, and I'm happy to review that. We'll talk a little bit about it throughout this lesson as well, but see me if you're still having troubles. And today we're going to talk about what C does, okay? And that will leave B for less than 8.3, okay? So let's scroll down. Now they have all of this written out right here for us. I'm just going to show it to us in Desmos. So a parent function is y equals x squared. So you can see that that's just right there, our red function. I'm going to add in not just x squared. Let's get rid of the a for the time being. We'll just make it x squared. How about that? Whenever I have x squared plus c, look what happens. This c value moves it up and down. So it's not going left or right at all. We're just going up or down. So if I kind of focus in on that, let's go up to here when c equals 3. Now let's look and see what our y-intercept is for this blue function, and it is 3. Now if I go to a negative, guess what? It's going to go down to negative. Let's do one we can see. Negative 5, y-intercept's negative 5. So C is actually pretty nice. There's not as much involved with it. It just is considered what they call a vertical translation. And if it's a positive, if it's plus C, it goes up. If it's minus C, they rate that here when C is less than 0, then that means it's going to go down, okay? For all of these, even if we have an a value, meaning we could have something like 3x squared plus 5 or 2x squared minus 7, this is my a value here. And these are my c values here. That would be a negative in there. Whenever the function is just of this form, then our vertex is always 0, c, whatever that c value is, and our axis of symmetry is just x equals 0. So let's try a couple, okay? Let's start out with example 1. So graph g of x, x squared minus 2, and then compare it to the function f of x equals x squared. Okay, we have a couple ways we can do this. I'm going to make myself a table, okay? And I'm going to put f of x in here. This is my parent function. And then I'm going to put g of x second. Okay, now f of x, hopefully we're getting to a point where if we use just our standard ones, we have gotten to a point where we're starting to remember what the outputs are. But anyways, this one's going to be remembering f of x is x squared. So this is negative 2 squared, which is 4. This is negative 1 squared, which is positive 1. This is 0 squared, which is 0. 1 squared, 1, and 2 squared, 4. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and plot that. And actually for that purpose, let me zoom in a little bit. There we go. A little bit or a lot. And go over and graph these. So I'm going to plot the points negative 2, 4, negative 1, 1, negative 2, 4, negative 1, 1, 0, 1, 0, 0, 1, 1, and 2, 4. Okay, so this here is my parent function. Alrighty, so now let's go back to our table. Okay, sorry for that jumping around. Now we're going to do g of x. Okay, so g of x is, and I'll do this one in blue, x squared minus 2. And I said there's two ways to go about doing this. I can go ahead and just sub each of these x values in for g of x and see what I end up getting. Let's do that first, actually. So this would be negative 2 squared minus 2, which will become 4 minus 2, which just equals 2. All right, then I'm going to have negative 1 squared minus 2. So what I'm doing each time is I'm just taking this function here that they're giving us, and in place of x, I'm putting this x value, and now I'm doing this x value, and then I'll continue with the remaining 3. Now, just so you know, these are just random sample points, just like if you remember back to linear equations. So you can really do any points you'd like, but these are nice because they give us kind of that nice symmetric look to the graph. It's uniform across it. So we could do like, you know, a whole bunch more this way and this way, but this gives us enough of an idea. All right, anyways, back to it. Negative 1 squared minus 2, because that's what g of x is. So that gives me 1 minus 2, which is negative 1. All right, and then 0 squared minus 2 is really 0 minus 2, or negative 2. 1 squared minus 2 is equal to 1 minus 2, which is negative 1. And then 2 squared minus 2 is equal to 4 minus 2, which is 2. Okay, so now my g of x ordered pairs are negative 2, 2, negative 1, negative 1, 0, negative 2, 1, negative 1, and lastly 2, 2. Okay? All right, so I'm going to zoom in again actually just so that we can graph this kind of more accurately. And those points will show up nicely on our graph. So I'm going to go ahead and plot these points. Negative 2, 2, negative 2 to the left, up 2. Negative 1 to the left, up 1. Oops, sorry, take that back. Negative 2, let's just start over for those so I don't confuse you. Negative 2 to the left, up 2. Check. Negative 1, negative 1. So negative 1 to the left and down 1. Check. 0 and down 2. Check. 1 and down 1. Check. 2 and up 2 because it's a positive 2. Check. So this graph looks like this. All right. So what actually just happened here was all that occurred because my graph is just x squared minus 2. Remember, it's like ax squared plus c. This is my a, which is 1. So in this case, it doesn't make it wider or narrower, shrink or stretch. It just kept it the same. But this minus 2 moved my whole graph down 2 spaces. So what you could do, if you want, when you're graphing these, and this is where I said there's 2 options, you can go ahead, as we did here, and you can just sub the values, these x coordinates, into whatever function it is, and get your outputs. Or you can go ahead, figure out what like the first part is, and then just shift everything down 2. Because notice 4 minus 2 is 2. 1 minus 2 is negative 1. 0 minus 2 is negative 2, and so on. Okay, so it's kind of up to you how you approach it. I'm going to do this table each time, mainly because we're doing this remotely, and that can be a little confusing to throw other options in, but that's what we would do. Okay. All right, let's practice this one. Compare the graph to the graph of x squared. Same thing, so I'm just going to put out my table. You don't really have to write the f of x in there if you don't want to, but I'm going to put that just to start. So negative 2, negative 1, 0, 1, 2. I know now that these answers are 4, 2, 0, not 4, 2, 4, 1, 4, 1, 0, 1, 4. Okay, all right, so I'll plot that again. I might not have to zoom in. Here is negative 2, 4, negative 1, 1, 0, 0, 1, 1, and 2, 4. So here's my parent function. This time it's in blue. Now I'm going to go ahead and figure out my new one, h of x, which is x squared plus 3. X squared plus 3. All right, so that means it's going to be negative 2 squared plus 3, which is 4 plus 3, or 7. So this ordered pair is negative 2, 7. Then I'm going to have negative 1 squared plus 3, which is 1 plus 3, or 4. So I have negative 1, 4. And then I have 0 squared plus 3, which is 0 plus 3, which is 3, so I have 0, 3. Again, notice that this here plus 3, it looks like it's just taking each of my old values and going up by 3, and that's exactly all it's doing, because it's all I'm doing is changing. Instead of it was x squared, now I'm just adding in this plus 3. But again, making the table, just filling it in like this, allows us to just kind of follow the same routine each time and not get too confused with special cases. All right, so this is where we're at, 4 plus 3, which equals 7, so we have 2, 7. So I'm going to plot these negative 2 and up 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Negative 1 up 4. 0 up 3. 1 up 4, and 2 up 7. Oop, overshot the point there. All right, so my graph, this time it was a +3. My graph went up. So when it says compare it, I didn't write it out in the one above, but we would say it is a vertical translation up 3 units. Now everything else stayed the same. It didn't get narrower or wider, no vertical stretch or shrink. It didn't flip over the x-axis because this is just a 1x squared. The only thing that changed is now there was a +3 when we compare it to the parent function. Okay? All right, let's keep going. I'd just like to do 2 more and then we'll be all set. Okay? Alrighty, so here I have ax squared plus c. So the only new thing we're seeing in these ones is that there is a vertical stretch or shrink. And so this is, if I just look at it, I'm going to make the observation. The 4, when I compare it to the graph of f of x, the 4 is going to cause a vertical stretch by a factor of 4. Because it's greater, that a value is greater than 1. And then this 1, what the 1 is going to do is it's going to translate the graph vertically up 1 unit. Okay, so that's what it's going to do. We haven't even graphed it yet. But when I make my table now, again, I can continue to put the f of x in here, but I'm more concerned with getting my new x values, my new g of x values. So anyways, this is -2, -1, 0, 1, 2. This is going to be 4, 1, 0, 1, 4. Plot that quickly, -2, 4, -1, 1, 0, 1, and 4. So these are the ones I started to say earlier in the lesson. We're getting just to have memorized. All right, g of x. So it's going to be, it's 4x squared plus 1. So it's negative. Let's rewrite that. It's going to be 4 times -2 squared plus 1. Now you could put this in your calculator, but you can also think through it. -2 squared, we have to do the order of operations. This is going to give us 4. So I have 4 times 4 plus 1, which is 16 plus 1, which is 17. So my first point is -2, 17. All right, next one is going to be 4 times -1 squared plus 1. So 4 times 1, because -1 squared is 1, plus 1 gives me 4 plus 1, which is 5. So -1, 5. Next I have 4 times 0 squared plus 1. 0 cancels everything out, so it's just plus 1, so it's 1. So it's 0, 1. Moving on, 4 times 1 squared plus 1. That's really 4 times 1 plus 1, which is 5. So we're starting to see that repeat, which is what we wanted. And just to double check this last one, I'm going to go ahead and I get 16, 4 times 4 plus 1, which is 16 plus 1, or 17. All right, so then that gives me 2, 17. So when I graph this one, -2 is going to go way up here. That's 4, that's 8, that's 12. This would be 16. Then I have -1 and up 5. I have 0 and up 1. I have 1 and up 5. And I have 2 and up 17. So this is my new parabola, and if I look at it when they asked to compare it, yep, it looks like it's not only is it it is a vertical stretch. It got narrower by a factor of 4 because that a value, and then it also, in addition to that, shifted up 1 unit. And my vertex, if they asked me for that, I could say my vertex is the c value, which is 0, 1, and my axis of symmetry is going to be just x equals 0, just like we saw on the front side. Okay? All right. I'll make one more quick video of this last question, but if you're feeling good with it, you can ignore that last part. Okay? Thanks, guys. Bye-bye.